The political leader of the People's National Movement, the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, I humbly ask that you grant us the opportunity and the honor of speaking to us, Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley.
Look on the sun now raising up, and the crowd now waking up. The atmosphere have vibes, and nothing can break it up. The girl never mind non-stop. We are the drinks them in a my cup. We gonna party all night, all night. 24 parties we hit in a row. Tonight at the very last show. Before we are out on the road, the girl them are release the road. So let me see your hands up, so everybody now put your hands up, so if you're ready for the road, let your friend them know. We're ready for the road. We're ready for the road. So we're ready, yeah we're ready, yeah we're ready, we're ready.
Thank you very much, Senator Dayal Singh. Party Chairman, Mr. Franklin Khan, Deputy Political Leader, Party and Elections, Mrs. Joan Yule-Williams, Deputy Political Leader, Policy, Mr. Rohan Sinanan, Deputy Political Leader, Legislative, Ms. Marlene MacDonald, and recuperating at home from a bout of the flu, Party Vice Chairman, Ambassador Camille Robinson-Regis, I'm sure she's listening to us. Labor Relations Officer, Mrs. Jennifer Baptiste Primus, and Mr. Primus. Party Field Officer, Mr. Indar Parasram. Party Elections Officer, Mr. Foster Cummings. All my parliamentary colleagues gathered on the stage here tonight, Member of Parliament for Point Fortin, Member of Parliament for Diego Martin Central, Member of Parliament for Laventille West, and others who I'm not seeing in front of me, but they're somewhere around. Senators, members of council of the various corporations, party officers all, members of the community of Chaguanas West, visitors to Chaguanas West, members of the media, members of the defense, of the security services, fellow citizens of Trinidad and Tobago listening to us on the media. This is Trinidad and Tobago at work. We've heard and we've seen Trinidad and Tobago at play. This gathering is caused by the actions of the government of Trinidad and Tobago. While we are pleased to be here, it's an unplanned presence. But we take the opportunity to join in the contest for the space in Parliament that is now vacant and which carries the label of Chaguanas West. Why are we here? We are here because the government is falling apart. The ruling party, which was split into 2 pieces, is now split into 3 pieces. But the PNM is comfortable with that, because there was an election in this country one time when the PNM took on 11 parties and beat all 11. So whether they come in 2s, in 3s, in yellow or in green, the PNM will beat them every square inch of Trinidad and Tobago. Because they got the opportunity and they squandered it. and they squandered it to the detriment of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. This by-election is an unplanned election. When we came into the term that started in June 2010, there were 3 elections ahead of us. One was the Tobago House of Assembly election. That's come and gone. The other one was the local election. That's coming soon. And of course, Judgment Day, the general election. This by-election was unplanned. Nobody died. Nobody got too sick to function. Nobody walked away to not come back. This by-election is a continuation of the UNC power struggle that started last year, May, in their internal election. The intention last year, May, was to get rid of Jack Warner. And for weeks, he walked around like a wet fowl looking for the sun. And then he contested the chairmanship and he won handsomely against the cabal and a prime ministerial candidate, the name of whom you may remember. Some inconsequential person who they put up against him, and he won the chairmanship. And from the day he won the chairmanship, like a shooting star, you said you're the wing beneath my wings? You said you're the wing beneath my wings? Who was the wing under Jack Warner wings? From the time he won the chairmanship last year and escaped oblivion where they were sending him, a wind, a hurricane developed under his wings, and he rose like the phoenix and took off for heights yonder. And the wind beneath his wings was the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. So now that they bust up, and a by-election is called by Jack Warner, because all of this is Jack Warner's plans being executed. He planned all of this. He chose the time. He chose the battleground, and he called them to battle here in Chaguanas West. So anything else they tell you, those are the facts. So I am watching and listening and hearing. I home in my house, Prime Minister calling me. I'm doing the PNM work, she calling me. Come down to Chaguanas, we want the PNM to come and fight. Where is Rowley? In Tobago? Yes, I was in Tobago. That is the one truthful thing she said so far. What she didn't tell you, I was in Tobago preparing for government. She was in Chaguanas fighting Jack Warner. So when she was calling for Mr. Rowley, come and help me, Mr. Rowley, come and help me, I was leading an opposition retreat in Tobago where we were discussing the future industrialization of Trinidad and Tobago, discussing where we go when we get into government. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, your opposition continues to prepare for government. And she calling me, where is Mr. Rowley? Because she wants me here in Chaguanas. Because you know what they do? They demonize the PNM. And all they can campaign on is attacking the PNM. So when I didn't come to Chaguanas West, the Prime Minister didn't know what to do. She was like fish out of water. So she was calling me. So as to tell the people of Chaguanas West that the PNM is their enemy. Come out and vote against the PNM. Rile up the tribe. Come and vote against the PNM. I am not your problem, madam. Your problem is Jack Warner. So I'm listening to hear what she's going to be saying down here. And to my lack of surprise, she started telling you that the police looking for Jack Warner. The police must investigate Jack Warner. Jack Warner is a criminal. Jack Warner is a liar. Jack Warner is that is the Prime Minister, you know. Talking about Jack Warner. Let me take you back to the same Prime Minister May 2010 to the time the by-election was called. May 2010, Jack Warner was her hero. He remained her rock until he declared a by-election. Let me take you through Jack Warner's credentials. May 2010 till the by-election was called. FIFA Cabinet Minister. Vice President of FIFA in violation of the Parliamentary Code of Ethics known to Kamla Prasad Bisesa because she was in the Parliament when Mr. Robinson brought that there and we all voted for it. But she appointed Jack Warner to the Cabinet knowing that that is a violation of what the Parliament approved. And when I took issue with it, she was the one who said, it is his work ethic you're concerned about. I said, Madam, no. Jack Warner's business and his private problems at FIFA could come to damage the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Protect the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Either he chooses to be in cabinet or he chooses to be in FIFA. He cannot be both. She protected him doing that. And then, of course, soon after, there was a bribery scandal in Trinidad and Tobago, reverberating through FIFA, and Mr. Warner was mixed up in the middle of it. And when the COP heard the PNM calling for Jack Warner's dismissal from the cabinet, the Prime Minister said, I will wait for the outcome of the investigation. There was no investigation with Jack Warner's corporation. Jack Warner bolted from FIFA, and the Prime Minister pretended to know nothing. But the matter went to the Court of Arbitration in Sport. And a ruling was made against a Minister of Government in Trinidad and Tobago. And the ruling was that he is guilty of not knowing what is the truth. And the language of the court was that he is economic with the truth. That's a court ruling. International Court of Arbitration in Sport. The Prime Minister knew that. She was waiting for an outcome. She didn't hear that. So then, election comes in the party in May. Jack Warner sweeps the polls. The same Jack Warner she's talking about now that she suddenly discovered is the man that you should stay far from. The first thing the Prime Minister did after that election was to appoint Jack Warner, the same man she's describing in the worst possible way now. Because like Rip Van Winkle, she has just woken up and discovered that Jack Warner was in the cabinet. That is the same Jack Warner who, as Minister of Works, became the only Minister of Works ever to be put to sit on the National Security Council. What did Jack Warner bring to the National Security Council by his portfolio? You're telling us now all that you know about him that is wrong and bad, which we say to you, Madam Prasad Bisesa, you knew all along. And he qualified to conduct your business, and you promoted him to the National Security Council. We objected to that. And she told us where to stop it. And in June, I went abroad on a 2-week vacation. But before I went abroad, I had good reason to believe that there will be a cabinet reshuffle. So I wrote an objection to Jack Warner as Minister of National Security, and I left it on the computer of my communications officer, and I told her, if the reshuffle is taking place, call me on my cell phone, and as soon as the Prime Minister mentions Jack Warner's name as National Security Minister, hit the send button and send the objection to the world. Even before she called the next minister's name, the PNM was objecting to Jack Warner being appointed Minister of National Security of Trinidad and Tobago. She didn't know that. And of course, while all that was going on, a most horrible allegation appeared in the public domain. I heard high-ranking Haitian officials answering questions, that money is sent to them in the hour of greatest need. I don't know if any of you ever been to Haiti. If you've ever been to Haiti, you'll never come back the same. You will see human suffering like you wouldn't believe. You will see deprivation like you wouldn't believe. And somebody sent money to give them some food. In Haiti, there's something called mud pies. You ever heard of it? It's people taking mud, making pies, drying it in the sun, and offering it as food to the children. It has some nutrients in it, you know. In that mud, there's some nutrients. But they have to eat that mud pie to get it. And somebody sent them almost $1 million. I think the figure was whatever the figure was. But it was a significant amount of money. And the allegation made against a minister of government in Trinidad and Tobago, for God's sake, was that the money didn't get to them. The Prime Minister knew that. She heard that. She wasn't concerned about that. And then, of course, in the public domain, with all kinds of jokes around the country, that the minister could not travel and his sons who were abroad couldn't come home. And when the press went to the Prime Minister and asked her, what do you know about this? What are you doing about this? She pretended not to know. She told you, I asked, I inquired politely, and there's nothing to it. But she suddenly lost her polite demeanor. And she's in Chaguanas West, like a chicken with the head cut off. And she knows everything that is wrong with Chaguana. Tonight, as I join this campaign in support of having her sing, I want to say to the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, there's one label that you have not given Jack Warner in your denigration of him, in your exposure of him, and the label is this: member of the government of the cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago, appointed, supported, defended, and protected by Kamala Persad-Bissessa. And every single thing that they accuse him of now, if 5% is true, is too much. But every single thing they accuse him of now is what he was known to have been doing or have done as a member of the cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago. So, madam, I'm not impressed. So tonight, as far as I am concerned, Jack Warner is history. My concern is the future. What kind of Prime Minister could have selected, identified, promoted, defended, and, to use her own words here in Chaguanas West, protected for 3 years, a man like Jack Warner doing the business of the people of Trinidad and Tobago? And it's only because he chose to leave that there's a by-election. Because she's talking from both sides of her mouth. In one breath, when she playing man, she's telling you, I had to do what I had to do, and I'm not afraid to do what I had to do. She did nothing. Because in the next breath, for those who are annoyed about Jack Warner's demise, she's saying, I didn't do anything. It's he who left on his own, and he could come back whenever you want. Who is the first person this Prime Minister put to act as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago? She had 27 other options, 26 other options. Jack Warner was the first man who acted as Prime Minister. And she allowed him to roam all over the government until he got the label of Minister of Everything. And that is why Fat Boy Moonland with his nonsense, talking about Jack Warner asking for 300 houses and only 21 came here. The reason for that is that Jack Warner was in Chaguanas West as Minister for Everything. And the government doesn't function. So if you want anything done under this government, you have to come to Jack Warner here in Chaguanas. 6 occasions he acted as Prime Minister of this country with 6 major allegations against him. And the Prime Minister, like the monkey, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Every single time I got up in the Parliament, with a motion or on any matter of serious import, taking this government to task for its behavior or misbehavior. Jack Warner was the hound dog. She put Jack Warner to respond to me. Jack Warner was her voice. In March of this year, before Jack Warner declared a by-election, I filed a motion in the parliament calling on the parliament to take objection to the Prime Minister's delay in firing Jack Warner. The Prime Minister had absolutely nothing to say. She sent Jack Warner to defend himself and to defend the government. And he invited you all to get a front seat to come because you have Mark to bus on Rowley. Remember that? They always have Mark to bus. Here is a Prime Minister, a motion of censure against her conduct about a member of her cabinet with Jack Warner's record. And the record of the parliament will show she had absolutely nothing to say. When the motion came for a vote, not like how she talking here in Chaguanas now, you know. In March in the parliament, she was voting solidly in support of Jack Warner. But all of a sudden, Jack Warner is worse than Beelzebub. Because he's no longer convenient to her, no longer available to her. How many times you would have heard me on public platforms of the PNM telling you here in this country that ministers of government were shaking down contractors, extracting millions of dollars from them? How many times did you hear me say that there was massive corruption and enrichment of ministers by shaking down contractors? Many of you did not take us seriously. Many of you would not listen when we talked to you. All your ears hard. You had to wait until Jack Warner declared a by-election in Chaguanas West for the Prime Minister to come here and tell you that they leak a story to the paper Sunday with proof that could only come from a particular government agency, with one of Jack Warner's company's back statement to show, according to the allegations, if the document is true, that even though you taxpayers make provision in ministries for social gatherings, I ran agriculture, I ran trade, I ran housing, I ran planning and development. Every ministry has within it, under the PS hand, a budget for social things. Prime Minister let Jack Warner loose. He wants to have a Christmas party. Santa Jack. Budget $1.9 million. And the entire government is there in the Christmas party. But the PLM is watching. Because we know what is going on there. And of course, the Prime Minister is telling you, under the guise of a Christmas party, her minister collected almost $10 million and it's on its way to his personal use. Today I heard Munilal giving you chapter and verse about the crimes committed in that action. And all of a sudden, they know the Integrity Commission should look at the conduct of public officials. So Munilal is now sending Jack Warner to the Integrity Commission over Jack Warner's Christmas hamper caper. Apparently their only understanding of the role of the Integrity Commission is to have Jack Warner Christmas party investigated. And all I can say to the Prime Minister, that was done by a government minister under your stewardship and protection. It was Jack Warner, the UNC minister. What they're trying to do now, the same way they isolated Volney, fired Volney, gave you Volney's head, and tell you Volney was the case and the reason for Section 34, and all the rest of them remain in office when they should have been drummed out of office. They gave you Volney head on a platter and tell you to move on. Section 34. same mechanism, they want to isolate Jack Warner now and give you Jack Warner. We say no thanks. We want the whole hog. Because there's nothing that they are accusing Jack Warner of now on that score that the rest of the cabinet is not guilty of. Nothing. And I'm talking about from captain to cook. Every one of them. Some of them came into office almost threadbare in their behind. They are now multi-millionaires. And of course, how did we know the truth from the Prime Minister in the by-election? Because she and Jack Warner fall out. If she and Jack Warner didn't fall out, we would never have known from her that Jack Warner was all of this. So the question I want to ask the Prime Minister tonight, how long do we have to wait for you and Annan Ramlogan to fall out to get the story of Annan Ramlogan? How long do we have to wait for you and Shama to fall out, if only could fall out, to get the story on Shama? How long do we have to wait for you and Munilal to fall out to get the whole story on Munilal? Because it's only when they fall out that you get the whole story or some of the story from the Prime Minister. Because the Prime Minister knows, as I know right now, the Munilal story. The Prime Minister knows what went on in Calcutta Road in Couva, where Lyndon Scott valued property as is where is, and says this is worth $55 million. But she sat in the cabinet and watched Munilal guide a note through the cabinet to make you pay $125 million more than the valuation. They pay 175. They could have got it for 50 million. So they took your 125 million more to get it. Somebody got, among other things, in the documents, somebody got $15 million of finder's fee. I didn't know Calcutta Road would lost. So you had to go and find the land in Calcutta Road. And for that, somebody gets $15 million. But if you don't believe it, just see it in the context of the fire truck. $6.8 million to lift a fire truck from a drain. $15 million to find a piece of land in Calcutta. No wonder the money is being spent and you can't see it. I want to ask the Prime Minister tonight, do we have to wait until you and your cabal fall out so you could identify for us the $1 million properties you all been buying abroad in Canada? Tell us that. Do we have to wait to find out which minister right now is living in a $4 million house that he didn't buy because the transfer has not been done? And of course, how long, oh Lord, shall we wait for the Prime Minister to tell us which minister went to buy a house in Ellerslie Park with cash? And while you're on that score, how long do we have to wait for the Prime Minister to tell us which motorcar trunk of a minister the driver opened and met $3 million in cash in the trunk? Because apparently it's only when they fall out, they will own up to you what the other one was doing. So if you were thinking about voting for the UNC, listen to what Jack Warner has to say about the UNC. If you were thinking about voting for Jack Warner, listen to hear what the Prime Minister has to say about Jack Warner. The only undiluted, unpolluted choice you have in this by-election is young Avinar Singh. People of Chaguanas West, you could choose it or you could leave it, but you have it. We give you a young man in whom we're very proud. We are very proud. And I want to say something to the PNM tonight. We have across this country tremendous support among people like Avinar Singh. Only yesterday, I met at the Marriott in Port of Spain with 150 young people like Avinash Singh. Because I've been saying to them around the country, we're making a mess of this place. Young people, come forward and take responsibility for your country. And that's why tonight on this stage alone, I can point out to you, Faris Al-Rawi. I can point to Tia. I can point to Sherry Halley. I can point to Avinash Singh. PNM, this is our future. Young people of Trinidad and Tobago, come forward and take responsibility for your country. And I can tell you, I have just had to screen over 130 candidates for local government. And you would be amazed at the number of young, bright people who have come forward to run for the PNM across this country. From Dego Martin to Pinal, from Siparia to Kuva Tabakita Paro. You will see them in the next election. Because my job is not to enrich myself. My job is not to promote myself. My job is not to suddenly discover that I have a life. My job as a responsibility to this country is to make sure that the next generation of PNM leaders appear now, and now is here. Job is here. They're here. You brought them. You brought them to screening. We screened them and we selected the best. And win, lose or draw, they are all winners. So tonight, I want to give Avinash and all those like Avinash who have come forward to be the PNM standard bearer. Win, lose or draw, your future in the PNM is bright, and I will ensure that. We've had many instances before of persons like Avinash coming forward in difficult environments like this. And when they don't win, we forget them because they lose. Under my stewardship, they will not lose. From the time they come forward and take up that PNM balize, they are winners. And the future is bright for all of them. You see, we have to understand that what the Prime Minister is saying to us and what their campaign has been is a most disgraceful display of the worst of Trinidad and Tobago. But at least the veil has been removed. That veil of innocence has been removed. So you can see and hear from their own mouths what they really are and what they are about. So, Trinidad and Tobago, you have no excuse now. You can't say you didn't know. You can't say the PNM was only saying so because the PNM want office. You're hearing it from their very mouths. We went to the parliament after the THA election, and we put a question in the parliament asking the minister of the people, the food card man, how much money you spent on food cards in Tobago? Because you know, if I wanted a food card in Tobago, I could have got one. The man pulled up in Scarborough Harbour with a boat, shamelessly with a boat. And on the wharf in Tobago, calling Tobagoans on the wharf to give out food card and hampers. Well, Tobagoans kicked them with a steel-toe boots. But when the question came to Parliament, they lied. But now, by election in Chaguanas, and acting Prime Minister Jacona, campaign manager of Tobago, has told you that Minister Ramadar Singh, not the public service, Minister, distributed $2 million in food card in Tobago. I wonder how many $1 million Khadija distributing here. I look in the papers, I see Khadija Amin giving out land, house and land. Khadija office is in Tunapuna Piako, in local government. On what basis is she giving out house and land? And then they have the unmitigated gall to disrespect you. And listen to the one called Rambachan. It has nothing to do with the election, you know. So you stupid. Khadija Amin leave to Napuna Piako. Comes to Chaguanas in the middle of a by-election, fighting for her life. In party outfit, at a party function, in a party office, giving out government land and government house, but it has nothing to do with the election campaign because you're stupid. Is that understanding of your stupidity or lack of understanding why they could tell you that and ask you to believe it? Is that why she can come and tell you, asking you a question, to ask Jack Warner where his money is coming from? When Jack Warner money was paying for her hairstylist, paying to fix teeth, paying to fix clothes, paying for whatever, paying the mortgage, paying the man, paying the woman, they didn't know that. They had no interest in where the money was coming from. An expose came in this country that showed that taxpayers' money that went to the TTFF. There are allegations that taxpayers' money that went to the TTFF for World Cup football ended up in Jack Warner's personal resource base. The Prime Minister knows that. She and Hound Dog Ram Logan had nothing to do about trying to find that money. Ram Logan is suing Wendy Fitzwilliam because she gave incomplete or bad advice to ETEC, and ETEC lost money. But where the records show that taxpayers' millions in the TTFF went in the wrong pockets, no interest. No interest. So in other words, the understanding is this. You could thief whatever you want. You could use it how much you want in UNC campaigns. You could give me and my friends how much you want. There is no problem there. The only problem I have is when the money is being used in a campaign against the UNC. All of a sudden, all these UNC people who are living like leeches off Jack Warner, all of a sudden, they want to know where is money coming from. I want to answer them tonight. From the same place he got it from to give it to you. Same place. Jack Warner said he spent $25 million in Tobago of his own money. He also said that SIS spent a number of other millions. Let's do the maths. Let's suppose SIS spent 40 million. Jack Warner spends 25 million, that's 65 million. And the others spend 1 million, that's 66 million. And not a seat. Not a seat. What a waste of stolen money. But my grandfather always told me, you know, ill-begotten goods seldom prosper. But in the by-election, the Prime Minister of the country, who is the major beneficiary of all of this, because her political party rode into office on Jack Warner's largesse. In the by-election, she's come down to ask you now where the bottom is to this bottomless pit. Well, I can answer her tonight. The bottom is in Tobago. It used to be the top, it's now the bottom. And she is demanding that the police investigate Jack Warner. And I'm saying that allegation has to come at the line of all the others before. Because she had no problem. She had no problem when the police didn't investigate him before. when the DPP instructed the police to investigate him under the Customs Act for the bribery matter, the Prime Minister wasn't concerned that a Minister of Government was now under investigation by the DPP for alleged criminal conduct. She had no problem with that. But now he declared a by-election. New standards, new values. And when I said I had no confidence in the management of the police service to have the will to investigate the emails and their contents, it was the Prime Minister who was out in front attacking me. She had no problem then. But I want to say to you tonight, you have seen enough to know what they are capable of. I understand that. Actually, I saw Minister Rambachan on television, and I saw it in the papers calling for an apology from me with respect to the emails. Well, since that is where it's at, and since the Commissioner of Police has declared them to be fake, the email addresses, I want to put 3 questions to all of them tonight. Because you see, there were 3 issues, among others, in those emails. One had to do with an allegation, as per the script, that the government intended and was involved in pressuring the Guardian to change the story, or they will lick up the reporter, or they will lick up the Guardian. That's what the email said, ain't? I don't know if the address is 1 Calcutta Road or 2 Kun Street. I know what the email said. That is what it said the government was aiming to do. What has the government done? Lo and behold, before the investigation finished, Guardian reporters in turmoil, editor to be fired, managing director want to go because they are firing her, owners intervene. Next thing you know, Matt whole executive retire because the press in turmoil, the media in turmoil, reporters walk out the Guardian, and the government smiling because the Guardian's new position, apparently according to the government spokespersons, is that they will go easy on the government. Isn't that what the email said? And of course, when the email made reference to bugs in the office of the DPP, I listened to hear what he would say about that, or the Commissioner of Police. The Commissioner of Police said, I know nothing about that. The DPP said, no comment. Well, in my book, in the field in which I operate, no comment is a comment. And no comment is not a comment satisfactory to explain whether or not there was a bug in the office of the DPP. So tonight, I want to ask the Commissioner of Police to tell the people of this country, email address or no email address, whether a bug or any technical listening or monitoring device was found or trained on the office of the DPP, and whether in fact anybody in the special branch was involved in the finding and reporting on that matter. I don't want to hear any stupidness from Rambachan about he write Google and ask Google about one of Ram Logan's email address. I gone past that. I'm talking specifically about actions aimed at our institutions. You have seen what happened at the Guardian. You understand it because you're not stupid. So I'm asking for a specific answer. Did the special branch find any device or any monitoring operations on the office of the DPP last year. And I want an answer from the police. And I want it also from the Prime Minister, who is the head of the National Security Council. The Prime Minister, as head of the National Security Council, must answer specifically to my question tonight. And I also want to ask her another specific question. Because when we talk about the government attempting to move the DPP to get somebody more amenable to them, a very strange comment came from the Chief Justice. And the comment was, nobody has approached me in that manner. Well, let's get serious. Nobody approached me in that manner. So tonight, I want to ask the Prime Minister in particular and other members of our government, who in the government would have approached the Chief Justice to elevate the DPP away from his current position in that manner is not a satisfactory answer to the current circumstance. Because you see, they're hoping that with the inflection of time and with the cavalcade of rubbish and bacchanal that is in front of you now, you would lose sight of the serious import of the allegations contained in those emails. So all of a sudden now, you're hearing the Prime Minister's lawyer, who speaks for her, warning off the Integrity Commission not to get involved in the investigation, while the police has a different approach which may never come to conclusion. She, through her lawyer, is advising the Integrity Commission not to investigate the matter. People of Trinidad and Tobago, let me ask you a question. If there was nothing to be found, nothing to make the government uncomfortable, what the hell is the government so worried about? Because if you know there's nothing to be found, they could investigate as much as they want to investigate. There's nothing to be found. But you have, initially, the talk was, I will give my systems to uncle, granny, FBI, CIA, anybody, I give them. When time to give them, you're hearing, oh no, talk to me, senior counsel. Now you're hearing letter to the Integrity Commission warning them off from getting involved. But of course, they're busy. They want the commission to investigate Jack Warner. Well, the PNM want the commission to investigate all of them. All of them. Because what we have here, Jack Warner calls it a cabal. And I must tell you, when I first used the term cabal to refer to the power brokers in the government, the speaker took issue with that. Because cabal is not a good word to refer to them. So I had to stop calling them the cabal. You know, Jack Warner leave there in the parliament where they took objection to being called the cabal by me. And he come out here and he's running a campaign against the cabal. You understand it? So I couldn't call them cabal in the parliament. But a member of the government comes out and confirms that it is a cabal. Well, since Jack Warner is calling them cabal, I can't call them cabal again. It's a mafia. It's a mafia. Madonna is running a mafia. And under a code, a mafiosi code, we keep each other's secret. It's only when you break rank, you go there and expose us, and for that, we're going to kill you politically. It's the code of the Cosa Nostra. As long as we stay together, we will survive together. And we agree not to breach the code of secrecy. That is why since May 2010 till June of 2013, the code of secrecy kept them together as a brotherhood of wrongdoers. But when it was too much, one member left the mafiosi. And La Cosa Nostra has a problem. And Madonna is furious. He must be eliminated. PLM has no fear. Jack Warner in the UNC, Jack Warner in the ILP, same Jack Warner. And we will treat them all with your vote in the same way. Get thee hence, Satan. You see, this secrecy is what kept them there. But you were always being told what they were doing. There were scribes and Pharisees in the country saying, don't take on the PNM. It's only office they want, and that is politics. We told you they were shaking down contractors. True. We told you they were enriching themselves at public expense. True. We told you they were incompetent. True. We told you they were not concerned about your well-being. True. We told you all they were concerned about is advancing their friends and their family. True. We told you that they were taking away people's jobs because of their political persuasion as perceived by them. True. And those all the issues they've come here with in Chaguanas. Imagine Jack Warner coming here and crying long crocodile tears that they're firing his supporters. I say to you tonight, Jack, what you sow, you'll reap tenfold. You were the first cabinet minister to have told the country that those who didn't vote UNC in 2010 have nothing to get. And your partner Gypsy told people in Rio Claro, all they didn't vote for us, so don't expect nothing. And the Prime Minister is here in Chaguanas West telling these good people that they must vote for the tarnished candidates, because if you don't, and you're not in government, you have nothing to get. That is their policy, their philosophy, and their operation. And they have the gall to point finger at the PNM. Imagine this Prime Minister who is always a stranger to the truth, telling people that she couldn't get a scholarship because she was from Siparia. It must have been something else she was doing why she didn't get a scholarship, but it couldn't have been from being from Siparia. Because the proof of the PNM's equal opportunity is Avinash Singh from deep inside Felicity on his own under public government policy came out of there with a degree, a double major degree supported by a financial program called GATE, which provides opportunity for all of every race, color, creed, or location in this country. That woman must learn to talk the truth. She couldn't get a scholarship. Coming into Chaguanas West to incite racial feelings, to demonize the PNM. I want to tell the Prime Minister tonight, had the PNM not fought the establishment and broken down barriers to allow every child in this country to have equal access to the prestige schools, the PNM fought that battle alone and won it for all of us in this country. And I reject your insinuation. It might have been their vision that the children of this area should have been cane cutters for life. My friend Fitzgerald Hines always tells me a story about when his mother sent him down to the wharf to his father to get a job on the port. And his father promptly chased him back home and said, when I come home, I'll talk to your mother. And when he got home, he asked his mother, so I'm a wharfman. My father was a wharfman, so my son will be a wharfman too. I want him to be a lawyer. PNM had a vision for the sons and daughters of these plains, not confined to cutting and burning cane, but to making them world-class citizens, and today they're world-class. The PNM succeeded. And where there's ingratitude, they walk the whole Obia. You can say what they want. This country was developed by the PNM. And the opportunities that lifted us from cane fields and from hopeless impoverishment were created by and supported by the PNM. So when you vote for the PNM, in Diego Martin, in Tobago, in Point Fortin or Chaguanas West, you vote for a party that understands where Trinidad and Tobago can go, should go, and must go. And all we do here in Chaguanas West is to give the people of Chaguanas West the best quality candidate that any political party could offer to any community. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. And we remind you, if you want to save tomorrow, take action today. And if there's any government in the history of this country against which political action should be taken, it is the mafia being run by Kamla Prasad Bisesa, which includes Ram Logan, Rambachan, and the whole batch of them. Well, as for Munila, you see, the entire operation as government is based on lies and dangerous lies. It is a lie for the Prime Minister to pretend that she didn't know where Jacqueline money was coming from. It's a dangerous lie for her to know that the man that she's elevating to National Security Council is making National Security Minister is a man as described by her now. She is now telling you that since last year November, Jacqueline can't travel. What Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago could know and could have in the cabinet a minister who has that problem? In Jamaica, a minister of government had allegations made against him, and the US government cancelled his visa. He was out of the cabinet within hours. That is a visa. A visa is personal to you. So he lost his visa because the US government didn't see him as a fit enough person to grant a visa to. He had to leave the Jamaican cabinet. But in Trinidad and Tobago, the Prime Minister could know that your situation is so bad that you're going to lose or you have lost your green card. And of course, she doesn't do a thing. She doesn't say a thing until the same person triggers a by-election in Chaguanas West. So she knew since last year November that the US authorities were interested in him and that certain actions can result in him having a new status. November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, he's still in the cabinet. And she's telling you now, I didn't do anything to him, he left of his own free will. So had FIFA's lawyer, Sir David Simmons, not done FIFA's audit, not made public the findings of that audit, as far as Kamla Prasad Bisesa was concerned, Jack Warner would still have been in the cabinet and qualified to be there. Would you believe that? Would you believe that? And while that is going on, your business is being left unattended because the same Prime Minister is chairperson of the security unit of CARICOM. And we are going to Haiti for a major security meeting where the US government is going to be present and all those who are required to help us with our deteriorating security. And when the PNM asks, why is the Minister of National Security not going with the Prime Minister to do his job as we expect to be done in Haiti? There was silence from the government. The Prime Minister didn't say a word. She was quite content then for the minister to stay home to evade the US authorities while the meeting took place in Haiti. Only now in this debacle she's telling us that wasn't only Haiti he didn't go, but he didn't go to a meeting in Canada too. You understand? What manner of Prime Minister is this? Where you could tell a minister, we have government business, I want you to go to India with me. I want you to go to Canada with me. I want you to go to Haiti with me. And the minister is saying, I ain't coming. And the Prime Minister knows the reason why he's not going up in the air. And she tolerates it and she encourages it. And in a moment of truth here in Chaguanas West, she tells a gathering in front of her, I protected him for 3 years until I can't protect him no more. So the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago has admitted to protecting criminal conduct in the cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago, and tonight I call for her resignation. I know they have the supporters, you know. I know they have the supporters, but the numbers are getting less and less by the day and by the hour. And I tell you, rectification of these problems will lie in your hands. Your first opportunity is here in Chaguanas West. And if you give us one more vote than you gave us last time, I know you're going in the right direction. And then the local election is due. And I know the people all over Trinidad are paying attention, and you will intervene to put your mark on those who have been abusing you. And they could run, but they can't hide. Time longer than tide. And time and tide wait on no man. The hour of decision will be at hand. And the day will come when you will get up from your homes, go to the polling station, and vote this government out of office. They have lied to you consistently for 3 years. They have hidden from you all that you should know. And that they have used public relations gimmickry to insult your intelligence. And you have been long-suffering to these overbearing acts. So now, we know what we have in office in Trinidad and Tobago. We have people who should never have been allowed the authority to run our affairs. That much we know. We know that many of them cannot stand scrutiny. We know we have to wait until you discover them or their colleagues expose them. What we are sure about is that their days are numbered. That much we're sure about. And before I go from here tonight, I want to say something to Prakash Ramadan. Stop annoying the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Because there is no distinction to be made between the UNC and the COP. And I'm glad that he has taken the public decision to bolt himself and his party to the breast of the UNC. Because as sure as night follows day, as the UNC sinks into the abyss of the political future of Trinidad and Tobago, so shall Prakash Ramadan and the COP. They have encouraged every wrongdoing of this government. And in my Tobago upbringing, we learned that the upholder is worse than the thief. So we pay no attention. I understand that they're arguing with their bosses that they want to fight all the Diego Martin seats. And they want to fight all the Arima seats. And they want to fight all the San Fernando seats. Tonight, put Diego Martin in the PNM column. Put Arima in the PNM column. And put San Fernando in the PNM column. Because the people of Diego Martin, the people of Arima, and the people of San Fernando, they know crooks, criminals, and incompetence when they see them. And all the high talk about new politics, all the COP has managed to do is to provide support for UNC excesses and excuses for their own failures. They are an embarrassment to the political infrastructure of Trinidad and Tobago. Anybody worth the salt and the self-respect would long ago have called their partner to order. But what they do is provide them with support. Provide them with support. So all of a sudden, right, they called for Jacquelin's resignation. They couldn't drive it home. But all of a sudden they hear now in Chaguanas West joining in, trying to save the UNC government. UNC green, UNC yellow, UNC white. Same UNC. PNM red is the blood of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So tonight, I'm very proud to have screened candidates for this seat and to have discovered, and on behalf of the PNM, present to the people not only of Chaguanas West, but to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, a young man who could be anybody's son. I would be proud to have a son like Avinash Singh. And every farmer across Trinidad and Tobago would be proud to know that being called a farmer is not a disgrace. It's recognition that you feed the nation. And when a young man comes out of Felicity, goes to the university, gets trained, gets qualified, comes back on the land, and decides to produce food for this country, he owes the gratitude. He's owed the gratitude from those of us who ask young people in this country to be productive and be the best that they can be. Avinash Singh is the best that our young people can be. And it is with that sense of pride that we present and support Avinash Singh as the PNM's candidate for the seat of Chaguanas West. I ask you to support him.